Well, tonight, the Rapides Parish School Board meeting took place. Among the topics discussed were the new security cameras mandated by law for special needs classrooms. Motions for new health service providers and record keeping for suspensions were also mentioned. Another motion discussed was a revisement of corporal punishment, although it was not brought up in detail by the Education Committee today. The subject will, however, be discussed more thoroughly at a later date in the next couple of months. A proposed change for maintenance and custodial staff was also on the agenda. However, it was also not discussed at tonight's meeting. Mark Dryden of District C, who's been working on a new proposal with Superintendent Jeff Powell, tells us that he is optimistic that the hiring and structuring of the maintenance staff will be more beneficial for local schools.
We're just trying to do a better job of organizing for accountability, feasibility, things like that at each schools and stuff. And if you'll look at our org chart, we have the feeder systems, have it broke out through the feeder systems. And that's the thing. We're not looking to fire nobody or anything like that. We need more employees, to be honest.
Dryden says that more details and longer talks will be made during the January committee meetings. He also tells us that he believes that reorganized departments will not only be more cost effective, but that the new staff will better accommodate the needs of the school system.